Alright, now let's add some variety to the mix. Today we are once again looking back at some graphics cards. And as you may know, in the previous reviews and comparisons I've praised the RTX 2070 for getting relatively close to the performance of an RTX 2080. And some of you actually wanted me to make a standalone video on this topic, and here I am now. So is it actually worth getting the RTX 2080 if you could just get a cheaper 2070 to possibly save some money? But the 2080 sure does have its point for existing, right? So there's no doubt the RTX 2080 is faster than a 2070, that's a no-brainer, but how much of a difference is there actually, and is it worth paying the premium for the faster card? This is what this video is about. Those that have followed the whole 2070 situation know it's not always that simple with that GPU. Some of you surely have wondered by now why there are such significant differences in price among custom models of the 2070. The main reason here is not so much cooling, but what kind of 2070 chip is used in fact. Nvidia, without really informing us consumers about it, in reality has launched two different RTX 2070 versions. The faster one named TU-106-400A and a slower one with a missing A letter behind that 400. Some speak of big performance differences, others say those are negligible. What's wrong or right, I don't know, since I didn't have the possibility of testing such a slower model on my own yet. What I want to say is, watch out. Either way, for the RTX 2070 I'm going with Gainward's Phoenix GS variant with the faster A chip. As for the RTX 2080, I'm going with one from Gigabyte, the WindForce OC edition. Now, where are the differences spec-wise? Both are equipped with the same 8GB of the new memory type GDDR6, feature the same bus width, have just as many power connectors, identical video outputs, only the TDP along with the amount of shader units, RT and tensor cores differ, so to speak. In terms of shaders, the 2070 does have a significant amount less of those, and similar story with the RT and tensor cores, which we need for those new features, but I'm not gonna discuss those today. So there's only one thing left to talk about: how big is the gap between a 2070 and a 2080 in games? Could you save some money there? So clearly I can and want to say both graphics cards have amazing performance to offer. With either of them you're good to go for 2019. The Full HD 1080p tests I've left out because, let's be honest, those GPUs are way overkill for that resolution. When I hear 2080 and 2070 I immediately think of great performance at 1440p WQHD. Even at maxed out graphics settings, both passed my gaming tests with brilliant results, which is why I'm having a bit of a hard time coming up with a good conclusion here. The results pretty much speak for themselves. At 1440p, both GPUs are within a very playable FPS range, and when going even higher, 4K in this case, neither with an RTX 2070 nor with the more powerful 2080, you'll really get to see all too good results. Both kinda lack the required performance for that high of a screen resolution. But then again, graphics settings can be lowered in order to maintain a smooth, playable reliable frame rate, even at 4K. Of course, with both cards you can squeeze out a bit of extra performance by investing some time in overclocking, and while those gains may not be mind-blowing by any means, it is at least a great and fun challenge. But it of course needs to be said, the 2080 definitely is a more powerful GPU, part of a slightly higher performance class, all of us know that. It's just that both are hovering in a very interesting range of frame rate. It gets to a point where one maybe could ask oneself, is it wise to get the 2070 instead of the 2080 to save a bit of cash? However, I'd like to remind you again, I had a pretty fast 2070. Who knows, the gap could look slightly bigger if I had a slower model, but don't take my word for it, I couldn't test that out myself yet. Power consumption and temperatures are looking great on both models though. Very efficient indeed. At the end of the day, I can only say, unfortunately, I cannot give you a clear answer on whether or not it is better to get a 2070 instead of a 2080. You've clearly seen with neither of them you make a bad choice. One simply slightly faster than the other, and that's it. In the end, it's you that has to decide how much horsepower you really need and want. I admit, this is a pretty dull conclusion of mine, but there's not really much to be said here. Nonetheless, I hope this video helped you see the differences a little better, and maybe it makes your choice a tiny bit easier. And with that said, thanks so much for watching.